Hi, good evening, everyone. Well, that was some interesting music, and it was kind of fun to hear some of the comments that we got on the chat. Yes, it is a little different. Probably not all of us speak the language, but isn't that the beauty of music, that it's a universal language? And sometimes we don't get the lyrics, but the rhythm is so cool and it's so funny. I find some of these songs so hilarious. I'm sure you do too. So, anyway, on that note, as always, it's 5 p.m. It's a Saturday, so it must be time for India Fact Quiz. Thank you all for joining us. Some of you keep joining us over and over again, week on week, and we truly, truly appreciate the effort that you take. Some of you who've joined us for the first time, don't worry. It takes a little bit of time to get used to toggling the two screens, etc. But you'll get there. It's fairly simplistic, and the team is on standby to help you. So please, anyone's having any problem logging in, just put that in the chat box and we'll guide you as best as we can through it. All right. Now, some of you, I know Kishore, you haven't got your book yet. We're trying to sort of take care of all the backlog. So just give us a little bit of time on that one. Hopefully things are going to get better. Well, Maharashtra, clearly the cases are dropping, but we still are leading the charts, unfortunately, on that front. But the only good news is that the recovery rates are also good. Darshan, I hear you. You two didn't get your book. Don't worry. It's all going to come to you. All right. So very quickly, I'm going to get started, and I've kind of skipped a few steps here, but I think it's okay, right? I mean, we really know each other well enough. But as by way of a quick introduction, I'm Rashmi, and I am your host for this week's edition of the Game of Facts. This is India Fact Quiz's Game of Facts, which is powered by India Spend, a data journalism newsroom, an independent newsroom, which is headquartered in Bombay. That's where we are. And this is brought to you by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. All right. So we play on Kahoot. And what you need to do is the game pin. Yes, Pranav, we hear you. And I'm going to try and just simplify and tell you how to go about this. So you're going to see a game pin in the chat box. All right. What you're going to do is you will see me where I'm speaking right now on one screen, and you will take either your phone or another screen and log into www.kahoot.it. Don't download any app or anything. It's fairly fast in that sense. And what's going to pop up is a game pin. You're going to put the game pin, which is in the chat box, in there, and then you'll put in your name, and you are good to go, my friend. So don't worry, it's as simple as that. And then where I'm speaking on this screen, you will see the question pop up, but you will also see it on your handheld or the second screen in which you've put your name. Now, very quickly, what do we have for you this week? Well, it's a book, but this time it's a very special book. Now, this week on May 17th, we commemorated. There's a day actually that's designated by the United Nations. It's the World Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, Biphobia, all of those aspects that unfortunately we choose to ignore. And sometimes we go beyond ignoring, we also ostracize. We really humiliate people for the choices that they are at times born with and really can't do anything about. And we need to recognize and we need to reconcile with our own biases. And that's really what India Fact Quiz is anyway all about. It's all about countering your biases, all right? And I absolutely love this book. I hope there's not too much of a glare. The book that we have this week, it's called Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. He's a Greek writer. And this is really the transition of a young girl to manhood, all right? there's a faulty gene that this born girl is carrying. And then as she gets into adolescence, realizes that this is not who she is. And it's a very difficult journey, but it's told in a very funny way. It's told in a very compellingly different, not really asking for sympathy or judgment, just stating facts the way they are. And it comes across very genuine. So it's a lovely book. And I hope there will be some delay, but once the lockdown is lifted, I'm sure things are going to be much better. All right. So we have 10 lovely questions that we have so carefully curated. There is a connection between the quiz that Meenal conducted and hosted yesterday and today's quiz, but we're going to get to it. As usual, the first 3 questions are poll questions, which means they don't carry a score. Now, Pranav, I hope this helps, especially your case, and those of you who are sort of new and first time on the Game of Facts. The first 3 questions should give you a sense of how you're supposed to use the interface. And then we'll get into the quiz. And as usual, we have 10 questions. All right. So with this, Srijita, I think you're asking, does it matter if you haven't attended any of the quizzes? Absolutely. I mean, it absolutely doesn't matter whether you've never attended any quiz or if you haven't attended yesterday's quiz. It's a completely new set of questions. I am sure there are many of you who probably thought, hey, if I just go for the Friday quiz, maybe it's the same questions that is said in English on Saturday. And I hope you were in for a bit of a surprise there. But really, it doesn't matter. All right. So with this, I'm now going to share my screen. You all will see your names on it. And well, Shreyan, Manas, Rahul, Dipankar, Sudhe, Kartikeya. Hi, Kartikeya. Anna, Anshika, Arnav, Insha, Yash, Varun, Prem, Mickey, Ruch, Tejaswin, Mr. Khanna or Miss Khanna, Venugopal, Leandro, IT, Arshil, Rohit, Tom, Baru. Welcome, everyone. It's the 19th week of this year that we're hosting the Game of Facts. Hi, Bharat. Hi, Vanshika. And yes, now we're going to get into the poll questions. Like I said, no points for the first 3 questions. It's just for you to get familiar with the interface, and then we get into the quiz. I hope that's all clear. If any of you have a problem, we're all friends here. So if any of you have a problem, please just let us know in the chat box. We can even stop this for a while so that you come on board. All right. So Piyush, Kunal, Parisha, all in good time. No worries. And we're going to get into the poll questions. And what do we have for you this week? All right. It's all things vaccination. And we wanted a few different kind of questions that we want to ask and get your opinion on. Which of these can you do without? Likes in social media, would you want to get rid of that forever? News and television, WhatsApp University, or gaming, your Minecraft and PlayStation and all of that? Which of these can you just do without if you had to? Okay, so clearly 48 of you are done or could do away with likes in social media. That's great. And well, 44 of you have said WhatsApp University. Unfortunately, yes, WhatsApp has become that live wire for a lot of nonsense. Of course, it also connects, but we could probably do without those forwards and the fakes and what have you. And interesting, 39 of you have said you can do without gaming, because not only is it addictive at one point, but you start to very quickly realize that it's quite a bit of an energy and a time drainer. All right, no wrong answers here. I hope you're getting a sense of how to use Kahoot. And we're going to get to the next question. Pre-pandemic musings. I wish I had spent more time on playing a sport. That's my regret. Traveling. That's my regret. Trekking, camping, anything outdoorsy. My regret again. Partying and socializing. Well, may not be as much, but well, yeah. Okay. So 28 have said something sporty. So whether it is playing a sport or trekking or camping, 25 of you have said traveling, and then 7 of us regret not having probably spent enough or more time socializing and partying. All very legit. And this pandemic will be over at some point or the other. What's very, very important is that we just keep and remember these things so that we don't keep them on our wish list any longer, but get down to doing something about it. I definitely am. Okay. This is a word cloud now. One realization or piece of advice you would like to share with the larger group, something that you realized during the pandemic. I mean, for me, it was clearly, I don't need so much stuff. I actually need only 5 sets of clothes and not more than that. It was just such a realization, actually, and quite funny. All right. Okay. Oh, that's lovely, lovely. Okay. So, the advice that you'd like to give to others are friends are life, spend more time. Um, I think it's with or at home. Always be content. I think that's very well said. Right. Mask up. Being home is good. Yes. Um, Nothing. I like the Zen mode that we are in. It's nothing to say. Be patient, sleep less, tell the truth. Yes. Stay home and stay safe. Yes. Take your health seriously. Be positive. Don't listen too much to others. Yeah, I hear you. Um, hope, social distance, study, get vaccinated, be positive, study more. This too shall pass is really a wonderful mantra. Be happy, make friends, don't waste your life, explore yourself. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that one. It's a bit of an eye opener. Life is precious, believe in yourself. Depression. Okay, I don't need friends. Okay, that's good. Probably you content with yourself. Mother, I love it when mother pops up somewhere in the list, and this group love their moms, and I love you guys for that. Time with family. Always be happy. Keep calm. Yes, keep calm. Life goes on. Yeah, do it now. Be hopeful. Peace. Okay, all of that. Very, very advice. Well taken, and very interesting realizations as well. Okay, so with this, we come to the end of the poll questions. No answers for this. And now we're going to get into the quiz for this week. And let's see what kind of questions we have for you. This is week 19 of the Game of Facts. So welcome, everyone, and wish you all the very best. All right. The first question coming up is a true or false. Last year, the Botanical Survey of India discovered 12 new plant species. It's entire species. Is this true or false? Right. So 80 of you, I think, have thought 12, not that big a number, could be quite possible. And you are right. So in fact, the Botanical Survey of India have clearly had a very productive year. Last year in 2020, during the midst of the lockdown, they were busy collecting and doing the surveys of plants in the country, and they have discovered 12 absolutely new undocumented species. All right. So clearly, somewhere we are doing something right. India is a very important ecological zone in the world. And yes, we're going to take a look at the scoreboard. At this point, it really means the person got, or Mamta with all her emojis, got the first answer right at the fastest time, but it changes very quickly, followed by Darshan, Gargi, Adit, and Baru. All right, we'll get into the next question. This one says, this state has recorded the highest increase in mangrove cover in 2020 compared to the previous year. West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, or Maharashtra? All right, so 16 of you are correct. Now, if there's anything to do with mangroves, given the fact that West Bengal has the highest amount or number or extent or expanse of mangroves, I probably would have gone for West Bengal. But in terms of the highest increase in cover, the uh, well, the crown, if you will, or the award or the Oscars has to go to Maharashtra, because they have added around 82 kilometers square of mangroves, which is very phenomenal given the fact that Mumbai city itself has a high concentration of mangroves, and these have been under a lot of stress because of urbanization and buildings coming up, and they have literally been killing the mangroves, and therefore this is a very significant achievement. Mangroves, as you know, are extremely critical because they are the natural rain drainers. They're very critical from just soaking up the excess rainwater that you get, and therefore areas don't get too flooded. Also, there is a very rich flora and fauna in these mangroves and become very critical just for the ecosystem, not just of the place, but also of our coastline. All right. So we'll take a look at the scoreboard and see what's happened there. Parisha has now jumped on top, followed by Adit, Rohit, Sandhya, and Kunal. We'll get into the next question now. It's a mixed bag here. India's sweet revolution or meaty kranti involves jaggery production, honey, cocoa production, or promoting local sweets, which is mithai essentially. All right, 36 of you said honey, and you are correct. 43 of you went for jaggery, and I pretty much get where you're coming from. I made that mistake as well, so I get you. So essentially, when we're talking about honey production, in fact, Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, kicked off the meaty revolution or the sweet revolution or the sweet golden revolution. So the golden revolution was really in the early 90s, which was around horticulture. This is focusing on beekeeping because bees are the most wonderful natural pollinators. They bring a lot of good things with them, both from a farmer's standpoint of view and also just from a nutritional output of the product, honey and its beeswax and royal jelly, as you call it. So there is a focus from the government, and there's actually allocation of funds to try and increase honey production in this country. We are among the top 5 honey producing countries, but we have to do, or we can possibly do much better. It's a very good, revenue earner for the country. So yes, that's what this is about. All right. So it's Adit, Kunal, Aswin, Parisha, and Kush. Okay. The next question. You're going to get double points for this. The technology best placed to ensure traceability of honey and honeybee products. Is it satellite imagery, drones, robotics, or blockchain? What do you think it is? So we have some very, very smart people around. All right. So it is actually blockchain. Um, Interestingly, we kind of put drones in the mix there because the male few hundred bees that are normally in the beehive are called drones as well. So you have the queen, who's one, and then you have around 10,000 odd worker bees, and then you have a few hundred drones who are typically the male. Okay. I'm fascinated because I've just, as you can tell, I've just read some bits on the bee, and they are absolutely fascinating creatures. Okay, so blockchain is actually being used to verify and keep track of the beekeepers, the type of origin and pollen of the bee. So it really gets into very specific, breaks it up into little packages of information so that you can actually bring down fake honey or counterfeit honey that is flooding the market. Unfortunately, China and India are at the forefront of pushing in counterfeit honey into the world. And blockchain can actually, is that technology that can actually bring down fake honey, which is being sort of transmitted. All right. So it's interesting. It's very fascinating. And Oracle is actually doing some work on this. And if anybody's interested to know or is working in this space or generally interested in blockchain, we're happy to share information with you. Very quickly, Aswin is in the lead, followed by Leandro, Swati Goswami. Welcome, Swati, to the scoreboard, Sandria, and Rajiv Rathore. All right, and we'll get into the next question. The number of species of animals currently documented in India, we're talking about 2020. Is it 50,000 odd, 1 lakh odd, 25,000 odd, or 11,998? What would you think? So 49 of you went for the highest number in the list, and you were absolutely right. Now, India has 7% of the world's fauna, clearly a very rich diversity of animals. And yes, it's over 100,000 that is documented currently, which is a very, very good number. However, we have to still do a better job at maintaining that and ensuring that there is the right balance and diversity in our fauna. All right, quickly to the scoreboard, and we'll see if something has happened, and something has. Andrea is now in the lead, followed by Aswin, and then we have Thunderbolt, Sonu, Rashmi, all right, my namesake, and Shreyan. Shreyan, god of IFQ. All right. Okay, we'll get into the next question. Things can change a lot. Double points now. We're talking about snow leopards, and we're saying snow leopards are found in India, China, Japan, Sweden, India, China, Bhutan, Iceland, India, China, Canada, Chile, or India, China, Russia, Kazakhstan. Just focus on the last two countries in each of the options. And we want to know where snow leopard ranging um, normally are in these countries. So 44 of you are right. It is actually in the India, China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, CIS sort of areas. And they're also found in Bhutan. They're also in Nepal. And yes, snow leopards clearly are a critically endangered animal, and the government is working on a specific program to ensure that we are maintaining our numbers of snow leopards and possibly increasing it. All right. In fact, all the countries that have snow leopard populations actually meet once a year just to take notes and understand what they can do better together to protect this particular species. All right. Quickly on the scoreboard, a bit of a shift. Aswin, Sonu, Leandro, Swati, and Rajiv, and Ayushi Agarwal is the highest climber with this question. Next one is a true or false. Domestic tea consumption has marginally decreased over the last 5 years. Is this true or is this false? Do you see the spurt of many coffee shops or other options of drinks around where you live? You possibly may base your answer on that. Think a little carefully. Right. Okay. So, tea consumption in general, as far as India is concerned, has been steadily increasing actually over the last 5 years. And in fact, it's quite interesting that we're one of those countries where we produce the second highest after China, and we consume practically all our tea, and then we have a little more to export as well. All right. We're going to go to the scoreboard and see what's happened there. Aswin, Sonu, Swati, Rajiv, and Adit are up and down on the scoreboard, but it's not over till it's over. And I can tell you that we've come to the end of the quiz and a completely new winner has popped up out of nowhere. So please just keep at it. And we're on the 13th question. Last year, the largest amount of forest area was released for what activities? Was it mining, irrigation, laying optical fiber cables, or road construction? So 11 of you who opted for irrigation were very clever. Now, instinctively, when I attempted this question, I went immediately for mining activities. And well, yes, it is very high. Clearly, irrigation, there were about 24 cases for release of forest land last year, and about 4,287.5 hectares were released. This is forest land which is given for non-forestry activity. As far as mining is concerned, there were 22 cases heard last year, and 3,846 hectares were released. When it comes to roads, road construction, there were 227 cases and a cumulative of 1,487 hectares. So just so that you can get a sense of it, optical fiber cables, 126 cases, about 74 hectares were released. All of this information is documented in government databases. Now, it does take a bit of digging, but all this information is there. It's there, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating to know. Clearly, irrigation is, while the assumption is, or probably our perception is, oh, it's all going for mining activity, which it is. But irrigation clearly is something that we are, as a country, struggling with. And we clearly need more water, and whatever more water we're getting never seems to be sufficient. And this is really one area where probably we need to think and use technology a little better. All right. So the scoreboard, before we go ahead, Aswin, Sonu, Swati, Rajiv Rathore, and Adit Nair. Okay, there's a 14th question. This is a puzzle. You get double points for this. And you will need to toggle this on your screen. Rank from high to low the tea exporting nations. Your four options are India, Kenya, China, Sri Lanka. You need to stack them in order from high to low or on basis of their exports. Very quickly, it was the International Tea Day last week, and therefore it just felt appropriate for us to have a few questions on that. Okay, this is a bit of a tricky question, but if you stack it in order, as far as the tea exporting nations are concerned, because China and India are such big consumers of tea, so we produce a lot, but we also consume a lot. When it comes to export, the numbers look very different. And it is Kenya in the lead. In fact, Kenya produces, or rather exports, more than it produces, which means that they also import tea from other African countries and rebrand and repackage it and export it, followed by China. Sri Lanka is ahead of India. And then, of course, there is us. All right. Um, Not much of a shift. We'll get into the last one, and I'll tell you why we have the last question when we get into it. It was the World Bee Day last week as well, and that's why this one's here. What we're asking is rank from high to low the amount of honey consumed by these nations. We're talking about per capita, per year, kilogram consumptions. Your four options are India, Slovenia, New Zealand, and Austria. Not bad. Actually, quite a few of you got this one right. And these are tough questions, let me tell you. So, the very fact that you attempt this, in a sense, just speaks a lot about your own intelligence and intellectual capacity, which is very, very impressive, I must say. So, clearly, New Zealand consumes around 2 kgs every year per person, followed by Slovenia, which is around 1.61 kgs. And then you have Austria, which is around 1.32. And then, of course, India is really way below at 0.02. Okay, we have a large population, but we're still a honey manufacturing country. We even export it, but we don't consume enough in our own diets. In fact, the government is considering mandating the consumption of honey uh, in midday meals, and also for other in the army and things like that, just to like give, consumption a boost. New Zealand, for me, was quite an eye-opener. I'm not very aware of New Zealander cuisine. Slovenia, I'm unfortunately not even too aware of what they do. Austria, yes, seems quite logical simply because they are a very high tourism country and they are known for their cuisine and sweets and bakeries and stuff like that. So it seems logical that yes, the consumption of honey would be fairly high. And this question sort of came around because it was World Bee Day. We wanted to celebrate it. It was International Tea Day. We wanted to celebrate that. It was, the world against homophobia, biphobia. We wanted to also make our point and consolidate our support and show our solidarity to the community as well. All right. With that, we come to the end of this week's quiz. Thank you so much for joining us. In the third position, we have Sonu. Clearly, his Thunderbolt did something for him. Aswin's come in second. And in the number one spot, we have Druhi. Like I said, this always throws up someone new. And then we have Swati and Rajiv as our runner-ups. Congratulations, all of you. And thank you to everyone who participated in this quiz. It wasn't easy. And the fact that you were in here right till the end means a lot to us. So thank you very much and look forward to seeing you next Friday at 5 p.m. for the Hindi quiz and next Saturday at 5 p.m. for the English quiz. Please write into us. Don't forget winners. Put in your details in the Google form. And thank you everyone for joining us. Send us questions you liked, didn't like, topics we should talk about, books we should recommend possibly or put on our book list. And stay with us, stay safe, get vaccinated or start thinking about it. And take care, everyone. Bye-bye.